So get ready for that. So it's black folks are on the move in our community, in our lives, and in our village, and then that's how it goes out. I have a special guest. Give me some air in here. I've got a special guest in here today. Willie Stewart is coming on the air to talk about assessments, and then also we'll be looking for legislator Mike Dupree. Will be calling in on the air, or hopefully after you finish where he's at, and then go from there. So, without further ado, Willie Stewart, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing this morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you gentlemen this morning. There's a few things that's going on in the city I would like to talk about for our community today. Matter of fact, me and you, we discussed the assessments the other day. We also assessed, we trying to figure out why the CEO down there on Fillmore closed up also. So it's some things that maybe the community needs to know about and try to find out and get some answers for this morning. So thanks for being here this morning on WUFO. It's a pleasure being with you,
so
gentlemen, today.
You talk about assessments, and let's go there.
I need to ask the young man a question.
Yes, yes, go ahead and ask.
That program you're talking about over in Northland Port, do you have to pay for that, or is it free?
So it is college, and part of the beauty of it is because when you graduate these programs for the mechatronics or the auto tech, those are going to be SUNY Erie, or for our 2-year welding, electrical, or CNC, those are going to be through SUNY Alfred. However, to be accessible, it wouldn't be fair if we said we're trying to be accessible, but you got to pay X amount, XYZ. Right. We actually have a department called Financial Aid and Admissions, and they'll walk you through the entire college application process. And that's why I can confidently say to people that most students don't have student debt. It's because we make sure you get all your funding. If you've never went to college, you have 6 years of undergraduate funding guaranteed through New York State. We take EOP, we take Say Yes, we take external, just like any other schools. And the beauty of our programs is they're so cheap that most of the time you won't have any student debt, and that includes the tools that you'll take into your first career. Because if you've never welded before, you don't know any welders, I promise you don't know where to get quality welding equipment. So our 8-month programs are $6,000. If God forbid you were to get no scholarships, our 2 years are $20,000. When you look at other colleges, that's not only competitive, that's about kind of the best you can do if you want to get a degree that's worth your salt. So we walk you through that process.
The reason I say that, are you connected? Are the programs connected with any of the unions? Or is it
So. For employment?
Yes, for employment.
So employment, 83% of our students before they graduate will have employment because we not only have a department that's called Placement Service with the man named Marcus Hill who goes out and get those jobs. We also partner with the BNMA, which is the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance. So we have a spring hiring fair with over 60 local and national level companies, including Tesla's, National Grids, Fresenius Kabi's, Moog. And so we have all these companies come in, and majority of the students, like I said, before they even graduate, have those job offers. The reason it's not higher, some students don't answer the phone. Some students don't want to go into the work after. But if you come to that job planning place, if you come to Northland and you want a job, we will get you a job before you graduate.
80% of the jobs are filled before they leave?
Or you'll already have multiple job offers before you graduate. So before
people getting their jobs?
Huh?
Are the kids getting their jobs?
Yeah. 83% of them are already having job offers in.
You would think they would get it. I mean, if they did all
take
that
them if
training.
you like. But we can't force anybody to get a job at the end of the day. We can.
I say this because I used to be in a union. I was in the union for quite a few years, and so that's what I was wanting to get connected. But I think the program's a great program. It's an opportunity. Anytime it's an opportunity for young people in our community and people in general, to be able to get jobs, I think it's a good thing. So I commend you on that work that you do, young man.
So let's go back to the question on hand now. Assessments. Everybody wants to call in now while we're on the air, but that's how it goes on our cell phones. But let's talk about assessments. Your assessment on your house went up to 100%.
Yes.
Right, and so basically your home was at what? Basically.
Well, it was 61%.
61%.
For the last 5 years. Yeah, and then all of a sudden I get some papers in the mail, saying that my assessments have went up 100%. I asked other people about it, which I thought was outrageous. Theirs also went up across the city at 100%. Matter of fact, this morning when I walked in the house, my neighbor was talking, and hers went up 100%. Some people may say that's not a lot. I mean, anytime, I think they should have done it incrementally. If they was going to do something, but to just hit everybody with 100%, I thought was outrageous. And so I'm kind of a little bit upset. Then I didn't know that they had meetings, so I did go to a hearing, and I did state, what's going on with my house, and and I feel that this was like overrated, what they came up with. So I did appeal it. I'm going to see what happened with that. But in the process, this in general, 100%, I thought was just outrageous. And I know the community, and I've got quite a few calls from people saying what we're going to do about it. Now, when I went to my hearing, I asked the guy, well, I didn't even know that y'all were doing this, the city was doing this. They said that they had 26
Was it a county? Is it a county assessment or a city assessment?
Well, right now mine's a city, but I believe the county did it because in what Amherst, they were on the news for the last
11%,
month, 2
yes,
months
yes,
at 11%.
And they was complaining, but they have more folks there complaining and about this. But in Buffalo, it seems to me that we don't have a lot of folks complaining about it. But things that happen because we don't complain, they be like, well, no one showed up. And I think that's what you're talking about. When you have these type of meetings, folks don't show up or call stations like here and voice their opinion and go from there. And then we want to be late at the game.
Well, they said they had 26 meetings. Out of 26 meetings, only 85 people showed up. I even got a call from my counselor, and my
councilman. Your councilman.
Yeah, my councilman, and me and him talked about it. And he said that, well, he did send out paperwork. I never got one. You see, but he said he did send out paper. Only 12 people showed up at his.
12 people.
And I feel like for me as a young person, we always talk about like getting young people engaged. I knew the 11.4 because I knew the 11.4 because when I drive through, when I'm going to the YMCA to play basketball, when I'm driving through Amherst or those areas, all you see in everybody's front lawn, no 11.4, say no to 11. Wow. But when I drive through Buffalo, if I didn't know, I wouldn't know there were assessments going on. And so as a young person, like, a lot of the times we research things or we become curious about things just because we're constantly being flooded with them, right? You're constantly seeing that. And so even when it comes to political elections, I see Trump flags. I don't see my grandma got the poster in the house, but I don't see even when it comes to, but it's not outside flying. I'm not shooting shots at grandma. I'm just saying what we see is what we research and become curious about. And so if 12 people are coming to these meetings, and I've went to common council meetings before, and it's not a great turnout, the question has to be, are we getting to this information badly? Is this information not being distributed the right way? Why is it that the community is always playing catch up?
Yeah, well, something, I think what it is too in the city of Buffalo, I think we've been so disillusioned over the years about what's going on, is that we didn't gave up a lot of times. This is why people don't speak, because say nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change. Just like you said, as far as you go out to Amherst, you see all these different signs, like Trump signs. Matter of fact, I've been out there, I've seen some Kamala Harris signs out there.
Right.
I haven't seen many when I come to the city of Buffalo. Now, I wonder, was those assessments done, how would I say, poor, what would you say, Murray, different neighborhoods? Would be all the same, for different zip codes.
Right. But the property value goes up on certain houses that's either been sold at auction or purchased by folks that might come with suitcases and they, and sell your home, cash money. And so now these assessments of your homes affect the house that you're living in, and you're not even selling your home, but now you're in the 226 thing, if you know what that means. But then sometimes the guy asks us, it says, assessments is good, right? You think you want a high assessment on your house for the value, but then we're not selling our homes. You see what I'm saying? So the houses that they're buying is mostly old houses, or they'll come there and try to swindle you out your house, and now that $300,000, whatever you might have paid for your home, you go out and try to find a house. You can't even find a house basically for $300,000 nowhere, and it'll be back to now you going somewhere else to live, paying high taxes.
This basically, for me as a young person, like, it soft locks us out of real estate. Like I was talking to my dad yesterday about buying a house, and he was like, yeah, you probably need about 10, 20 down. I said, nah, I don't know if that's enough, Dad. I think I need like 30, 40, like even hopefully ideally 50. He was like 50. I thought it was 10%. I said, Dad, that might be 10% with some of these housing prices. You'd be surprised what's going on. And so as a young person, part of the reason why we have become so disillusioned with the politics and the policies that are being passed is because when things like this are coming down the pipeline, let alone how you guys feel, to me it's like, oh yeah, we got no chance. Like they're not even fighting to give us a chance.
Now you done went somewhere on the Jim Anderson show. You was talking to your dad about real estate, right? And that's what young folks in our community are not doing, talking to their parents or whatever. Like Willie, your grandfather. So eventually you gotta say, look, you gotta pass this on to the family, or dad or mom, can you help me with making the right move to buy some real estate so I can invest in the community because I plan on staying here. So
Well,
that
we're
part
talking
there,
about generational wealth.
yeah,
You know, when
generational
talk,
wealth,
when
yes.
you talk about buying a home, you talk about generational wealth
Mhm.
because you can go in and get your equity out of there and maybe go get you a business. You see what I'm saying? Or maybe go buy you another house. Well, for over years, we've been redlined to the point where we couldn't get it. You know, like I said, they had something in the paper a few months ago how they redlined the black community. A lot of times we blame things on ourselves, but it's not us, it's not just us. There's other things that put in place for us not to be successful. We know that historically. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, you ask why we so disingenuous about what goes on in our city and why people don't come out. I wish more people would come out and speak up about some of the things that happen in this community instead of putting their heads down. I mean, here, you know, we look at the streets. I understand taxes help the streets, but we had our legislators, right? County legislators and city ones, right? Give themselves a $20,000 raise. You see what I'm saying? Or give themselves raises. We're what, $45 million in the city of Buffalo in debt, but then you can go give yourself a $20,000 raise. Then you go up on our taxes so we can pay all of that out. You see, that's totally insane. Now, some of them didn't vote for it, my understanding, but the majority of them did. So now we're stuck here with this nonsense.
This is
I'm
Jim
upset
Anderson show.
because 100%, I could see if you'd went up and commendably on it over the years while the mayor was there, he could have did that, but he kept putting taxes up. Now you hit me all at once and I'm supposed to be satisfied. Like I said on the news, I wouldn't care if it was $5 or $500. The way they did it is what I'm upset about. You see, the way they did it, they should have did it year by year. You see what I'm saying? Then just hit me all at once with this. And we wouldn't be having a tax problem in Buffalo. So that's mismanagement. You see, that's total mismanagement. And some of you people out there, so-called running for mayor, how are you going to fix that? How are you going to come to us in this community so we don't have to
Shake
deal
up.
with this nonsense that's out here?
So here we are on the Jim Anderson show, shaking it up. Jim Anderson is not here today. He's probably riding on the road or probably just smiling and grinning like he always does. But the question is to you listeners out there. You make the decision on how you want to do business here in the city of Buffalo. We were waiting on Mr. Dupree to call in. He might call in about 11:30 if he does. Then we can ask him those questions. But we'll put it out like Jim Anderson says. Everyone is allowed to come on the show. Congressman, whether it be senator, whatever you are, you're more than welcome to come on the show and answer some of these questions that we have. We don't beat you up here. We respect who you are. Please don't run away from us. I think we got one of the hottest shows going on WFO. I'm just giving the plug out for the Jim Anderson show because we keep it real and we keep it 100.
You know what the city
Yes,
assessor said? You know what he said? I was told, he said it on the news minute. He said, well, everybody got to pay their fair share. Well, I don't mind paying my fair share if it's fair.
Mhm.
You see, why don't he come on the show and let us know what's going on in this city right here?
Right.
You
So,
know?
Austin, getting back to you in hand, we talked about some things that's happening in the city. We talked about the billboards that's going up, and I'm gratefully thankful for that. But I have some more information for you as well. Coming from Erie County. Right now, we are putting a package together for youth to be hired from the age of 14 to 20 years old, starting in probably in the October, going all the way to June. Some programs we've been working with gun intervention and making it happen with the youth in our community. So we're working on that piece there right now. Hopefully, I'll have applications Friday at the Merriweather Library. I'm only going to have 45. But this is the catch to it. We're not just giving you the application just to walk in and get it. You got to stay for a Stop the Violence meeting to understand what's going on in the community. That means if you get there for your kid or your daughter, you got to stay there and listen to what we got to talk about. We got to stop giving you stuff and just handing it to you and letting you go on your way. And that's what we're going to be doing this Friday at the Merriweather Library, 4 o'clock to 5:45, passing out about 45 applications for your youth to work in the program. We're part of the Buffalo Black Billions as well, and that is going great with youth in the program. So I'm trying to get these kids to a level of, once they leave the Stop the Violence Coalition or Buffalo Black Billions plan with the LLC and things like that there, they would automatically go to Northland Corridor. So we have to groom them in order for them to get there. They just can't walk in the door and not having that knowledge. And that's what I'm trying to do here with our youth in our community right now and with the Mayor Summer Youth Program as well.
And I'm definitely going to comment on that because how important that is. I'm going to get the caller in
Yes, sir.
before that, and then I'm going to go ahead and
Yes,
hop
sir.
right back in
Yes,
after.
sir.
Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Dr. Doyle calling.
Hello, Mother
Good morning,
Doyle.
Dr. Doyle.
Dr. Doyle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have a very important announcement. I just produced a film on the history. The film will be shown at the Merriweather Library on October the 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. Mr. Holman, I'm going to have some flyers at the Merriweather Library this coming week.
Yes, ma'am.
This film is a very important film. I'm the executive producer of the film, and I want young people and older alike to see this film. So I hope that you will come. You will hear more about it in the media this week. I just wanted to announce that October 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. in the Dr. Edward Doyle Auditorium, I will show my film.
So, Mother,
Thank you for allowing me to make this announcement, and you all have a good day.
stay on the air for 1 second, Mother Doyle. I did see you at the Hakeem Jeffries event this week, and what did you think about that in general? Hearing this young man, he reminded me of so much of President Obama when he first was, starting to get into the realm of politics, and he reminds me of him. And I knew he was going to probably be groomed to be the president one day, but then Kamala got in the race. So, what did you think about this brother here?
Yes, I'm very impressed with him. I feel like he is going to be I hope he will be a future presidential candidate. And also, I took notes of everything he said. And my article on him will be in the Criterion newspaper Sunday. But I want to just add this. If you come down my street, and Mr. Holman knows where I live,
Yes, ma'am.
you will see my campaign signs on my lawn.
Thank you. It needs to be more and more signs in
I
this.
know there should be more, but my whole attitude is this: I will always do my part.
Yes.
Everybody should do their part. So I hope you gentlemen will come out and see my very first film. I'm very excited about it.
Well, I'll definitely be there, Mrs. Doyle.
And thank you for your granddaughter to being a Buffalo police officer. I see her out there now. She's young, Austin, a little bit your age, and I know your grandchildren are doing great things in the community. I always see them, and they grew up in a library, and that's the main point I want to say.
They certainly did,
Yes.
Mr. Holman, and now I have great-grandchildren.
Oh,
coming along.
congratulations. Congratulations.
Okay, you
Yes.
gentlemen have a wonderful week.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Doyle. It was a pleasure to hear from you as always. I want to kind of comment back on what you were talking
Yes, sir.
about, especially regarding that kind of transition to the Northland Corridor, and especially on like grooming people up, right? Especially the youth. There are so many skills that we aren't even aware that we need. There are so many opportunities that are being closed from us, and we aren't even being explained to as to why. The biggest thing I see is soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
Certifications and degrees are great, but if you can't articulate yourself in a room with other people asking you questions and you can't make it through an interview, you can't get a job, or you can't get the jobs that you want. You'll get the jobs that they might give you.
Right.
And so making sure that, like you said, I talked to my dad about real estate. That's the house that I was raised up in.
Right.
It go car, house, motorcycle, because you can't have a car and a motorcycle in somebody else's house.
Right.
You definitely can't have a house without a car.
Right.
And if you got a car in the house, you deserve a motorcycle. That's what we always say.
Yeah.
And so it go car, house, motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
There were things that I was exposed to. I've done stocks, right?
Right.
I understand ITF and mutual funds. I understand what I'm going to do when I get money and how to be financially literate. But I'm saying that to say that that's my experience.
Right.
And why we can't control what goes on in people's houses. And so the best thing we need to do as a community is, like you said, help us have programs that start from as young as possible and get you straight into the workforce in a way that's not just for you to survive, but to thrive.
Right.
We need to prepare people for careers. Right. And in a career, it's not just going to be about, do you have the degree? Mm-hmm. It's about when you come to this team, when you come to this company, what do you add and how can we get money to you? So and I think that's going to be very exciting.
So now it goes back to Willie Stewart, which you were working for the city years ago. And what was your...
I was a plasterer.
Plaster.
Yeah, I was a plasterer at Buffalo School System. I also was a carpenter at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I worked on machines too down in Texas.
Right.
You know, NCNCs.
So are they giving that technique, that style of what you learned to youth now?
Well, no, you know something. He spoke on some good point. What happens is that if our children don't see something, then they can't be anything. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in Texas, I had the opportunity to see buildings going up. You see what I'm saying? Seeing different people working and different things and such as that. We don't see that here in Buffalo. The unions, for instance, no one, you talk about the Northern Corridor. Well, that's came about within the last, 4 or 5 years.
6 years.
You see, but what happened before that? We have unions out here that never do reach out to this community as far as work. Like I said, you just seen 8 brand new buildings go up in the last, say, 3 years
Elmwood.
up on Elmwood.
Right.
What have we seen
In
over
3
here on
years.
Jefferson? We got 2 of them came up, and they look like prisons.
Right.
You know, if you just put your bars on the front of them. So our kids don't see us working, so they don't have any inspiration to say, well, I would like to be a plumber. I would like to be a carpenter. Right next door here, I walk in, I say, I wonder how many blacks
Color
is
Musician
working on the
Club,
Color
right?
Musicians Club.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Now, what you said, as far as articulation, so I know a whole bunch of folks that got into, for instance, being a carpenter or being a plumber. You see what I'm saying? That may not be able to, but what happens, they can come in and be grandfathered into a position and
Apprentice.
then go apprenticeship.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Then go through the program for 4 years, then come out. You see
So,
what I'm saying?
you
As
used
a
to say
journeyman.
something about program, but sometimes I believe that the United States was not built on programs. Most of these buildings were built from folks that came here from abroad and built these buildings that we're in right now without any education, and it was built right and straight. So sometimes you gotta understand that what we're dealing with now in our time period is a lot of folks in the United States are not working. And so those folks weren't working as well, but they built stuff, and they didn't need all this. Person saying you got to have this mathematical level of education, and so we need to get back to just getting these kids off our streets and giving them an opportunity, so now they can be successful in their life and say, "I built something like that. It didn't take that much." That's what we falling back to.
Yeah, so historically, we used to be the bricklayers, we used to be the carpenters, we used to be the electricians. These were dirty hand jobs, that a lot of other people didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And then came along the union, they found out there was money involved. You see what I'm saying? And then they got into it. I mean, we were skilled workers. Black people, especially, we were skilled in everything. I mean, we built Washington, D.C. besides designing it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, besides other cities across the country, a lot of things that we do, you never hear, but I guess why they want to take the books out of it, so you won't know how great you are. You see, like this young man sitting here, I can look at him and see his future.
Yes.
I mean, it's bright, and it makes me feel good. I like to see other young people. I would, it's sad that I would have to go. They got BET Awards. Well, people say, oh, I'm not even going to watch the BET Awards. You know why? Because when I look at some of the rap that come out here that's so negative about oneself, you see, I don't see no pride in that. When I see some of our sisters and stuff running up and down the street, you see half naked in the clothes that they wear and the way they present themselves, I don't see any pride in that. But then you'll put it on TV. You see what I'm saying? And want to make that like that's a good thing? No, I'm not living that way. My children don't live that way. We in this community shouldn't live that way. I want to see young entrepreneurs, you see, across the world in suits and ties. Not necessarily I'm taking the culture to the away from, but there's a certain way that we should treat ourselves that we used to be. You see, that thing went way whack, for the money. We run around here, got young men running around here with their pants down like that's a fad. You see what I'm saying? How could that be a fad? In fact, in older men, some of the older men, we have to stop living like that. We have to get back to our true culture, who we are, instead of letting other people dictate it to us.
And I definitely want to even go. Exposure is everything, right? What you see is what you become. Like you said, shop class, right? A lot of times I talk to old generations, I'll talk about shop class. They're like, yeah, I had shop class. I was probably one of the last. I remember I was getting when they were about phasing that out.
Right.
Family.
Yes.
FNC, or what was it? Family and Consumer Sciences.
Yes.
Yeah, that. Learning how to manage your money. I was around some of the years when that was last getting phased out, and we're losing exposure to a lot of these things in a lot of these schools because of whether it's funding, whether it's because of importance. And what I always have talked about, I think the number one thing we need in Buffalo is entrepreneurial programs for 2 reasons. Number one, because we already have a spirit of entrepreneurship. You see young black boys cutting hair in bathrooms. You see young black boys and women, ain't not even black. You see young people in general cutting hairs in bathrooms. You see young people selling candy out of lockers, selling candy out of their cars, and we shut them down without understanding how to foster and nurture this entrepreneurial spirit. And to me, entrepreneurship is the one arena where it's truly about what do you want to do and how can we get you paid for it? Because there's nothing wrong with having young people in business and young people in music. But if we're going to be in music, let's be where the money is in music. Because even the deals that win BET Awards, you're on advances, you're on fronts.
Right.
I was talking to DJ Shad, make a jingle.
Yeah.
Go make elevator music because it's money in it. You in elevators, you see them. Go be a speaker and use your voice and go make educational training. We were actually gonna have a young man come in here. He had a family emergency a couple of weeks ago. He's an aspiring voice actor. He wants to do things that you would see safety training. And I said it's so important that we see that because the same voice you're using to maybe put us down or try to hop on the track, that's no different from basketball or football. You're going into a flooded market. Go somewhere where there ain't no competition. Go somewhere where it's easy because you can still make money with the skills. But that's why I always say entrepreneurship is the starting point because it truly gives you the freedom to say, what would I want to do? How would I want to get paid for it? And when we start there, that's how we build a community of people who are wearing the suit and ties instead of buying it and holding the receipts. We're going to go to commercial too, so we'll be right back after. But stay tuned with us.
Thank you.
You talk about like the Norfolk corridor. They just shut the city over. Right, the Ralph Green Center.
They shut the Ralph Green Center down.
They were cut it down. They were near Friday, taking all the stuff off the walls, right?
And nobody's talking about it.
That was one of the few places that we can go to. You see what I'm saying? To get information about the Norfolk corridor. Those were one of the few places that we can go to meet. You see what I'm saying? To talk about the different things in the community.
That's crazy. We just dropped materials off. We just dropped materials off to the my other coworker. He just dropped materials off to the Ralphie Green Center, and now they're already shutting it down.
When we go back on the air, is it true, Emmanuel? Is the CEO shut down? Let us know so we won't be putting wrong messages out there. I see you on the Facebook page, and that's what we're trying to find. You can call it to the station, or your dad can call it to the station and let us know, so we don't be pushed out. I don't want to push out false information.
Thank you, Mr. Calvin.
You know.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust.
People are
That's
ready
why
to
so
see
many people turn to
get upset
Hobson's
at each
Dry
other about
Cleaning,
bumping
conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East
all
Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
that I see is the ones we vote. Who's those voices that come in front of you?
You
Or
can
they just
trust
sit there
that your
just getting
whites will be
paid.
white.
You know, and then we stay in the same position we've been in the whole time. Think about that.
You can
They
even
play
trust that
music
you
with
won't have
cheers
to
in
get
those
out of your car
Here's
if
a
you
guy
don't want
that
to.
what's his name?
Hobson's has a
Howard
drive-through
Johnson
window for
left.
your
You see, being
convenience.
a legislator, you move somebody else in there that I've never seen in the community meeting.
Hobson's
Now,
Dry
some people
Cleaning,
up there
your one-stop
but I
dry
go to
cleaner
twice
serving the
me and Murray
community for
together.
over
I
30
never
years
seen that.
at
Never seen him in the
874
street
East
talking about my
Delavan at the
issue.
corner
I
of
never seen him on the
Wyoming.
news
Call
talking about my issue.
891
But they play music with cheers,
8298.
moving there, then they
That's
put him on a different line, then we vote for him. You
And
see?
yeah, and what's Mr. Charles Calvin said it was family skills being passed down, so you didn't always need skills. Like we said, those are the exposure things. And Jim Anderson said it's one thing to say what is needed versus saying or showing who is really doing so with young people. So, like you said, we need to put people in office who are actually doing the work. But I was gonna ask you this earlier, and I think it's still relevant. Right? They kept putting taxes off, but we kept putting them in.
Yeah.
When they were putting that on their platform, they would say, we're not going to raise taxes. And not one person wanted to say, well, how are you going to do that? We were just like, yeah, it sounds good. So I'm saying, we got to look at ourselves as voters to say, we need to be more discerning to say, that's not possible. Or we need to start asking if it is going to be possible, how? But they give you a hot dog, they give you a hamburger and a backpack giveaway, and you don't want to question anything as if they can print money themselves. We bet and if they don't have it on the docket, if someone were to come from the community and say, I'm going to raise taxes, there's no way that they would ever get a chance to get a ballot. So what are politicians supposed to do? Either they got a liar, they can't get in.
What you just said, go ahead.
We're back on the show, and we're going to continue talking a little bit about what we were talking about over the break, especially regarding the voters and some of the policies that politicians have when getting into office. Part of the reason why, and Jim Anderson also said, I want to also pay, because it is the whole show. He said it's one thing to say what is needed versus saying or showing who is really doing so with young people. Talking about are you walking the walk or are you just talking the talk? But even to that point, that reflects even in our politicians. Not raising taxes, politicians were getting voted in year after year after year, putting this on the docket. So nobody ever asked them, well, how are you going to do that? We were just assuming they were either going to print money or, like we talked about, they give you a hot dog, a burger, and a backpack, and then we're just whatever you say, sir, it's all cool. We need to really ask more questions to say, And this is the honest truth. If a politician were to come up in Buffalo and say I was going to raise taxes, they would have never got voted in.
Right.
So either they have to lie to get in or they don't get in at all. We have to ask ourselves as voters, what is important to us and what sacrifices are we willing to make to get what we want? Where do our priorities lie?
You on fire, Austin, was that one?
Well, you know, so I prefer the truth. I would have preferred David came in and say, the people.
I got to raise your taxes.
Yeah, or say we're going to do it incrementally. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You see, but what you just said, they come in and give us a program. You see, and it's when they say program to me, I keep figuring out maybe my spelling messed up. Because I think about these programs in our mind. You see what I'm saying? Are we programmed here or just in the programs in general? We have to stop the nonsense. Like I said, we got 89 people now that's running for mayor. You see, half of them, you know, say, I don't even think have the skills. They just feel like they want to just run. You see what I'm saying? Me, most people just like when I show up. Because when I show up, that means, you know, you got to give me some answers about what's going on. Because I'm not going to stop talking. I'm getting older. And every time I say I'm getting tired, what they say, they don't get tired. You see? So I have to be out there speaking up for the people. I don't care. You know, the things that's happening in the city don't make no sense. We call ourselves Democrat. Well, what is it? 3/3 of the city Democrat and the east side is not? Because apparently everybody else get work done in their communities, but we get nothing in ours. You can't even ride down Jefferson or Bailey Avenue. You see what I'm saying? When I feel like you're not on a railroad track.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? When you look at the streets and the sidewalk, that's totally crazy.
Right.
You see that we have to deal with it. But I see other parts of the city built up. This is why we moved. Then, you know, what they're doing, they're playing so many games with us, they'll make sense. Somebody said, well, we're going to have a white mayor. I don't care what mayor we got, as long as he's doing the freaking job. But the mayor we have, you understand what I'm saying? He played for himself, as far as I'm saying. I love him. You see what I'm saying? But hey, you know, what has he done for 17 years? You see, but they playing musical chairs around there and putting money in their pocket and putting somebody here, putting somebody there. You see, that come out of the Democratic Party. What's this name, the head of the Democratic Party here? I just see him when I was working downtown with the sheriff department, go up and down the stairs.
Zelman.
Yeah, Jamie Zelman. He run around here like he king. I put who I want here when the people supposed to do that. They don't even bring them before us now. They just throw them in the place. That's the daggone shame in the city of Buffalo. And we should stop it. You see what I'm saying? Stop as citizens and say enough is a freaking enough. Why does the East Side look like this for the last 50 years? They've been playing games at us. We've been accepting it. And it's time for us to say enough is a freaking enough. And we say it every year. We get the same thing every year. Program after program. Why is it you're saying if I want to get a job, I got to go to the urban league? White folks just go right to the job.
Uh-oh.
You see what I'm saying? But I got to go to the urban league. I got to go to a program. How many white folks over there at that program be doing over there? You see what I'm saying? Unless they got some teacher Wakatana around their Amherst, let's get smart. Let's stop letting people play us.
So
You see what I'm saying?
So, folks, we are here on the Jim Anderson Show. That's part of the shakeup. And like I said, if you have a view, you want to call into the station, you can to answer that.
And please, somebody tell us what's happening. Excuse me, not cutting at the Rocky Green Center.
Yes,
please. Somebody tell me why is that place shut down like that.
We'll go by there today, if not, and get some answers. Hopefully, what's happening over there. But you know what? I have noticed that when we have organizations that's doing great in the community, somebody's always trying to figure out a way to shut us down, and that has always happened. We were on William Street at 1370 William Street. Back to Basics was over there. Stop the Violence was over there. All our groups was there. We was doing great. And all of a sudden, somebody came in and bought the building and shut us down. I ride by that building every day. Right now, there's no activity there, and it's been shut down. But the folks that bought it, it's the same ones we've been talking about. So this by design, in some type of areas in our community, folks are buying stuff to shut you down, whether it be your house, whether it be property. This is what they're doing, and they're succeeding at that all the way through. This is dangerous for the city of Buffalo when I talk about that there. Even when you go down, I'll give you a prime example. If you want Fillmore and French Street, you know, there was a cleaning business there. The white lady owned it for years and years and years. And all of a sudden we were standing in front of it, protecting her from the youth from going off and fighting in it with the peacemakers. And then she sold it to the Benghazis or to that Bangladesh community and never reached out in our hands. So now they turned it into not a cleaners anymore. It's a storage place. So they are here by design to take away your culture. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Take away your culture and things like this here. And we are not rallying together. We're not putting our funds together. Your 10,000, my 20,000 together and saying, let's buy this and buy that and make things happen. If not, your community is going to change, folks. Even when you go into your Walmart and to your Home Depot, it has changed. It went from first they was using the swipe machine to now most of the people there do not really speak English. And so we are setting ourselves up for this disaster and know what? And all we're doing is just saying, Why? We got to change that, folks. I'm telling you, we have to entrepreneurship. We have to give young folks the opportunity to invest with new ideas and new vision and still keep some of that old vision. That is could be possible if we do it the right way here in the city of Buffalo.
You know, I have to say that what they do with society does, and what the powers that be does, they keep throwing us off our game in the black community. I say this because they keep putting things in our way, you understand, to stop us from seeing the light. I see this young brother here, he can see the light. He understands what the future holds. You see what I'm saying? If you just put yourself in the right position. You know, this is what we have to get other young people to do to change the community. The immigrants that come into the city, I mean, somebody told me that, well, they're getting our reparation money, you know, and nobody's speaking on that. But at the same token, they come in with cash money from wherever they get it, and they buy these properties up, like I said, that we couldn't get them because even when we had the best credit, you see what I'm saying, they realized it was just in the bank. You see, even they'd find a way not to give it to us. So it was a lot of time, and we couldn't own the houses. Or when we moved in the area, you notice the devaluation of the houses went down. So we wasn't allowed to get that generational wealth, you see what I'm saying, to be able to put in a bank, you see, or to be able to go grab it out of a bank to be able to buy something.
So you said earlier, is it time for us now to either have a black credit union or a black bank? But do we still get red line when we open up them spots? Because it's you got to look at that dollar mark. It ain't. Sometimes it ain't about. Sometimes we know that there, Austin. I know you turning this side because we gotta be careful when we say we want black banks, and all of a sudden when you walk in there and say, "Look, can I get this loan?" They be like, "No." And now what you gonna say about that? So Austin, go ahead.
You know why we couldn't have a black bank? Because we couldn't decide whose name was gonna be on it.
Right.
We can't rally. We don't rally. We don't rally. That's why they can come in and do whatever they want. They listen to where the voters and the money goes. If there was a corner store in the middle of Buffalo that had the cheapest prices but had a Confederate flag on top, we would still go in there and shop. We can't rally. That's why Mandela's got sold. We can't rally, and that's why got all the benefits. And this is why I talk about it's so big on what do we stand, what unites us as people, and we say resilience.
When I go to McDonald's, you know, I say, how come y'all ain't hiring no black folks in here? And you know what? They're black that's working there, but they're family black. It's always a shift change going at the new McDonald's. It's always them in there, but we don't get to work the register. We don't get to do nothing. And all we do is putting our dollars into those businesses and not paying attention and can't figure it out. If you shut them down, it ain't gonna help nobody, but you can open up your own and see how it goes. That is crucial in our community right now. Every McDonald's store I've been going into is them. And I'm not saying racism, it's just them. It's not at first when he came here, it was a plan of using black folks in that community to work at Mandela's. He got many opportunities of money that was given to him by the city of Buffalo to do that. And he changed over after a while. Then he sold it, and then he lied to us in the Challenger and said he didn't sell it. And now, right now, if you walk in and you don't see none of them there except for two, but everybody else is not of our color.
Can I say something? You know, so we have a bank in New York called, I think it's One United. You know, it's a black bank. You know, we have about 17 really, really good black banks across the United States. You see what I'm saying? That by the fact you can bank out, you know, you can bank at through your, what they call it, through, what you call it, Mary?
With your phone?
Yeah, with your phone. You know, but I had talked to some people there at one time, you know, and I had got sick, by the fact, last year, but I had got sick because I wanted to get them to come here and sit down with us. So we do have black banks. Don't make like all of us ain't doing anything. You see, and some of them is willing if we just reach out to them, you see what I'm saying, and come here. They're already established.
Well, New York State, is there a black bank?
Yeah, Berks United. They're in New York City. We got 3 of them there.
Well, how come they're not here?
You see? Huh? Yeah, but like I just said, you see what I'm saying? But I had got sick and I never reached back out with them.
Okay.
You see? But we have other people in this city that's more, how would I say?
Let's say Dupree is on his way.
You know, that know more about it than me. You see what I'm saying? There's more educated, I guess, in finances than me. That maybe could reach out and get them here to talk to some of us about putting one here. You see, but when I'm just saying, we have people come here from other countries, they set up and they buy everything, but we can't constantly blame ourselves. You know what happens? So for some strange reason, we help everybody else. We think everybody else we run to, we'll help out and say, oh, they're good people, they're not doing wrong to us. But when it comes to ourselves, see, we have a problem with. But we've been trained that way to hate each other, just like I tell people about educational system. Why you keep telling me about our kids can't read or write in the educational system? You see, when they brought us off to those ships, for the ones that some of them was already here. You see, the ones they didn't turn to Indians, you see, they turned into slaves. You know, because some of them was already here. And they said, when you get off the boat, we're not going to teach them their language. We're not going to teach them know how to read. We're not going to let them know where they come from. And they do the same thing now. They're taking the books out of there. Our kids can't read. You see what I'm saying? And they know nothing about their culture. And they're doing the same exact thing. And so we've been going on and on in this circle, you see, for so long. My children, I have grandchildren, right? Well, each one of them, guess what? I think 90% of them are working, have jobs, and are doing quite well for themselves. But you know something, like you sitting there, young brother, they know about gold. You see what I'm saying? They know about stocks. You see what I'm saying? I got one now. I'm saying, wait, he said, well, you know, I'm working this job right now. I got hurt. What do you think I should do? He's like 32. He said, you know, I'm thinking about going back to school to be a lawyer. I said, why not? Why not? We need some fighters. We need some true fighters out here. We don't need people standing by like we can't get nobody to call in today, like nobody listen on the show to speak their mind, to speak their heart, to speak what's truly going on. I don't have nothing against them people out here coming into the city doing what they're supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? But I have a problem with when we go out there, I see none of them buying from us.
Right. So here we back to the end of the Jim Anderson show. Where we always have guests here. Wait on legislator Dupree to come into the building. He said he was on his way. Hopefully he can answer some of these questions before we get off the air. And you know, the show is on every Monday, 11 a.m. To 12, and this is what we do on the Jim Anderson show. And Jim Anderson leaves us this microphone and this panel to discuss anything that's happening here. But like we said before, don't tax our hearts, tax our mind. And I say that clearly because what we say here on the show is truly unbelievable. And if it's unbelievable, let us know on the show. We don't mind being, checked when something is wrong or right. But please do it, Jen. Austin, back in your hands. What's going on?
I feel like for what you said, it is so true. We don't need a savior. We all need to pull a chair up to the table. But to that point, again, I just feel like if this bank comes here, could I even communicate to other people in Buffalo to stop at the bank that you've been at and go to the new bank?
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't be waiting on
right? Yeah.
we shouldn't be waiting on you to bring banks here. Like that, and like you said, I could do it through my phone if we had a desire for it, because this is what I'll always go back to. I will always go back to this Drake concert that came here. If we have a desire for it, we'll be there.
Right.
When it matters, we'll be there.
Wow.
Let Lil Baby come to Buffalo. We'll be there.
Right.
And so the point is, and that's why I went back to when we were talking about in the lobby. What unites us? What can we say will make us and make me look after you or look out for you? Because right now we're in a mindset of scarcity. Because we're in food deserts. I don't blame the people who go to Mandela's, really, because that might be the only place you got for food in a mile radius from your house. But what I'm saying is until we can understand and start looking out for each other, until I could say, hey, I noticed you don't got a car, but you got kids, I'm going to Tops, come with me, until we can look out for each other and help each other, we're always going to struggle. And it's going to start from the foundation across all age levels too. It's going to start from the foundation of this. What unites us more than suffering? And we've said it, Dr. Doyle said it, and I said it, I think it's creativity. Right. But whatever you think it is, we need to start finding some common ground, because right now, though we look at other immigrants, refugees, and other groups, there's just as much division between me and you, between me and other Black people. Right. So why we talking about them? Them can apply to my same color of people. So we can't do why we can't put our money together.
You think we're devoid now of critical thinking? Is that what's happening?
Oh.
Is that what's happening throughout our community? They don't teach it anymore in schools. Like they have to teach critical thinking for you to fuck up. They say, well, why is that there? I mean, because it seems like that's what we're void of for some reason.
I know what we're void of. We're void of our expectations have dropped. And I'm not going to go into the history of it. And I know we have a legislator coming as well, but it used to be the church. Before we all came up here, it used to be the church. And this is what I'm going to go to. You can't name me one place where you can find every kind of Black person. You can't name me one place. You can't say the barber. You can't say church. You can't say a sporting event. Where can you find every type of Black person? If you can't reach us all, how do we ever get on a collective message? And it used to be the church. And then as we got older and we started to separate from the church, what also fell along with that place of congregation, what also fell were our expectations. When the book isn't the expectation and the parents are the expectation, well, then it becomes very subjective. What you wear out the house becomes very subjective. What you listen becomes very subjective. How you speak becomes very subjective. And when it becomes very subjective, I also know about people in general, we will take the path of least resistance. And so if you're a mother or father and you're tired of telling your daughter, put on some more clothes, at a certain day, you might just say, man, go ahead. And when everybody just starts saying, man, go go ahead and we don't got nowhere people are meeting to say that this is not right, we start letting things go. And when you let things go for so long, you end up where we are today. That's what I would say. So we don't have expectations anymore. Like you said, we're happy with nurses, not doctors. We're happy with teachers assistants, and we don't want professors. And when you stop pushing for those things, you stop getting them. Because the younger generation in the city is always going to reflect the expectations of those who came before them. And I don't see the type of expectations that I have in my household and other households around the city. And that's why we are where we are today.
Here we are.
I'm sorry.
But that's what we.
I'm glad you care. Look, I'm glad you care.
Boy, we look. This is how we do on the Jim Anderson Show. It jumped right in. Lawrence Dupree is in the house. Legislator just walked in the building. You are the legislator of the future, and you know what? You got a little past, but you got a future with you. You work for the Lovejoy councilman at one time.
I worked Lovejoy councilman.
Yes, and now he's there. He was actually appointed to this position as legislator in what district? The first district.
I'm in the first district. Legislative District 1.
District 1. That's number 1. I mean, you're gonna have to have a 1 on your jacket or something like that. There. But at first, a lot of folks didn't know who you were, and then Willie as well. And it was like, well, how does this happen? And it was like, Murray, you should run. I said, no. For some strange reason, I respect you, brother. And I was like, no, let's get the brother shot at. So without further ado, you know what? But you know what? He's done work, and I know the work that you do and how valuable it is to that position. So welcome to the Jim Anderson Show. Let us know what's going on, brother. You have the floor. And this is Mr. Austin here, another host on the show. You just heard him on the air, but I know our board is probably lighting up. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here today. And I do want to say, so people ask how I got here. I got here from working. I knew Murray way before I did this. A lot of these things that I do, I was doing it before. I was elected official. The elected official part was the part that I didn't think I needed. I always enjoyed working in my community, working with people like Murray, giving out food, doing things, because it didn't matter who did it. I just wanted to help my community. At the end of the day, that's where I'm going to live at. That's where I'm going to end up dying at. So it's just important to me that I did stuff. Then an opportunity came where, with Legislator Johnson leaving, there was an opportunity for me to make my pitch for why I can make the best decisions and kind of bring up our community.
Hold on. Come on. Yeah, thank you. We're going to have order here on the Jim Anderson Show. Go ahead, brother.
And that's about it. And I'm just looking forward to moving the community forward, doing things. My biggest thing is it's community forward. We need the community voices to be heard and pushing forward from that. And that's what I want to do. I do have ideas, but my ideas need to be in conjunction with the community. That's important to me. I live here, and I've noticed things such as when people say, well, we know what the community needs. Y'all don't say that to no other community. Everybody else gets to have their input, and I want to make sure my people have the input to make it move further. Don't tell me we know. Don't tell me we did a study before. It doesn't matter. They want to speak, and they should be able to speak on it, and then we can come up to it. We have similar ideas on what we want to do, but I really need the people I live with to have their voice heard, because you need buy-in. You need buy-in. You need accountability. It's real easy for me to sit up here and go, I'm going to do all this. But if people don't get their hands dirty, if it goes good or bad, they can always say it's somebody else's fault. So I want to involve everybody. We all got to take accountability. We want to be transparent, and we want to make it better. The best way to do that is including everybody.
Yeah, so
it's not just one person. If this goes well, it's all of us. We all live here.
So you are custom built. That's coming from Atlanta, Georgia. You are custom built. So on this point right here, assessment, is that a city venture or a county venture on assessments right now? That's what we were talking about earlier on the show with the housing.
The assessment stuff, I'm not sure right now, and I want to get more information before I speak on that, because I know it's going to be something, because when I talked to you on Friday, people getting bills that are crazy, and I feel like I need to get more information on it, because I don't need to know just why it happened. I need to know how we're going to address it.
There you go.
Because, you know, one of the big things is education and getting information out. We only hear a little bit of something, so I don't want to come with just a half answer, because that's going to add to the misinformation, the disinformation, and things that don't help our community. Information is huge.
Where your office located?
My office is at Fillmore and East Utica.
Oh, okay.
Right at the intersection. You can't miss it.
That area that has transitioned over. We were talking about that earlier on the air. You're Fillmore, East Utica. And then, so now, what's your telephone number so they can call you? Uh-oh. You got the assistant.
I got to pull that out. I got to pull that out.
Fresh. You just got cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the office number. Your number there. Well, you don't know that number, but
I'm about to get that for you.
Yes, sir. And so, I mean, we know you just now coming out the box, and not what I said to him. Man, you got to get up front with the people now. You know, they got to know who you are. And so, our mission is to let the people know who you are. Austin, got anything for him?
Absolutely. I think it's great to hear such a different how do I explain this? Platform before. I think voters recently over the past couple of years on the national to local level have had this weird transition. We went from voting from platforms to personalities, and it's great to see someone who not only has the personality of someone we want representing us, but has done the work. My question to you would be, because I know my city and I know when we have 26 meetings and 80 something people are attending, we are so slow to get information. Could you maybe go into detail of some ideas you have to help us be better informed as a city so we can be accountable and be accessible to make these changes?
Okay. So first I want to say my phone number for the office is 716-842-0490. I'm at 1367 Fillmore Ave. And if you want to email me, it's Lawrence, LAWRENCE Dupree, DUPRE at Erie.gov.
And how long have you been now there? You know, it's your job.
I was sworn in July 25th.
July 25th.
So about 6 weeks.
For about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knew. He's so fresh.
I still may not know how to turn the lights off, but I do know how to talk to people, and that's my big
But what
important
I'm
thing.
saying, you know, so, I mean, I'm glad to hear your spiel. You know, saying what you got to say. You know, I'm glad to meet you because I've never had, and I'm constantly out there in the community, and that's what I was concerned about. Because, like I said, I'll see legislator in the Democratic Party. This may be the last time I vote Democrat. You see what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, because all I see is them playing musical chairs with us over the years, and over the years we've been getting the same thing. So when I hear somebody, as you talk about, they want to come to the community and get our voices in and what we have to say and what changes we think need, that's very, very well. Right now, as you sit in that seat, I'm trying to figure out what Johnson did. You see, when he was in office, you know, I mean, like, you know, me as a community lay person, you know, I really can't say. But I do know that he has another position, and you moved here, so I hope somebody. In fact, yes, he did. He sat on the. I think he sat on what's the board for the sheriff department. Yeah, he sat on that board or something. Didn't he, to do
I
something?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, right. And by the fact, I sent some people to him. He get nothing done. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't hear him screaming and hollering. Hopefully, if you sit on that, I'll hear you, you know, seeing some changes come about. Now, I do know the sheriff, and since he's been here, I've been, you know, there maybe he had.
And we have already set up a
a
meeting. Mr. Dupree, legislator approached me, and he approached me and then said he wanted to talk to the sheriff. We made that happen. He did have a conversation with the sheriff. So out the gate, he did that automatically that some folks would not have done.
I went to the
Yes.
sheriff correctional on graduation because that was important. I go there because a lot of times people will say these things and have these ideas when it's like, why should I be there supporting this? That was a very diverse crowd of people. We always quick to say we want to see our people in it. Our people are there. They didn't get the support that I think they should have got, so I wanted to make sure I was there. Because we're the first person to say it, but where's our accountability to be like, oh, they're doing good, let's uplift them.
Right.
Well, see, I fall for him to be there, Murray, and tell you that. But what you're saying, I mean, I like so far.
And so there's a couple things I would just ask. So
Yes,
first,
sir.
I'm sorry, sir, you asked me about how we're going to get information out.
Yes.
Getting information the best way is I'm trying to see what's out there first. Before I just jump out the window and say, Zanetta did something great. Councilmember Everhart did something great. She made the book of all the stuff for the city of Buffalo.
Right.
The county already has something like that. So I need to do my research to find out. I know senior services has something. I know social services. So I got to see what is the best way people like to get that. There are different ways we get it. People, QR codes. Some people don't like QR codes. Some people do like QR codes. So it's still trying to figure out what's the best way. So we do have the information to the county. I'm not sure it's the best way to give it to the people because I still have to talk to everybody. And everybody's going to be different. So it's not going to be me one size fits all where I'm just going to put out this one thing because we have that. I just have to figure out the better way to connect with the community. And that's by going places. That's me meeting people. That's by asking what's the best way and just bringing stuff and telling them. It starts with me being educated.
So are you going to have more community meetings for your district for folks? You came to our South Violence Coalition meeting. You've been to Just Breathe meetings. You're all over the place meeting wise. So are you going to have something like a state of the first district? Something like that. And that is just throwing it out to you.
No, and that's something I could definitely think about in time. But right now, that goes back to my bigger point of I don't need to always start something new. It's already there.
Yes.
So me trying to start something new and say I need to have all these meetings, that's disregarding all the people who are doing work on Naval Street, on Coon Street, on St. Louis. So when I come in and say, oh, I need to do all these things are already being done.
Yes.
They're being done. People are doing the work. And we need to make sure the light is shined on them because it's not about me. And I feel like me saying, oh, I need to make this meeting.
Yes.
It's not about that. The meeting's already being done. I just need to go to them.
Yes.
So these things are already there. And that's the thing for me is that I want to spotlight and highlight that things are already being done. We're always going to get new politicians, new people doing it, but we need to make sure we know the people who've been doing it. I don't need to come in and make up something. It's already there. I go to meetings. So maybe I'll make a meeting at Johnny B. Wiley, but I'm pretty sure they already do it. So it's not me needing to make these things, because that's then to me that's saying that people must not be meeting.
And
That's
you
a lie.
got a long district, Austin.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for coming on. We had a little bit of time left. We are wrapping up for the day, so the show is over. But thank everybody for being here.
Come
we really
back.
appreciate
Yes,
you guys.
yes.
You got to come back so we can hear some more, because it is a refreshing take. But we want to see the refreshing take, and some people in the city have bad taste in their mouths already from past people. So we want to make sure that you can get a chance to really express your message, and we want to be the vehicle for you to do that. So I want to say thank you, Murray.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Mr. Johnson.
Stewart.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stewart. And thank you, Legislator Dupree. And we're going to see you guys next week. Have a
We
good
out.
one.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Yeah.
Glad I
Now,
can make it, sir. Yes, sir.
No, it's a pleasure.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week.
Understand this.
Thank you.
It's like last time I talked to John.